There is a 29% response that clearly indicates that there is a marginal increase, and 15% of the respondents said that there is a huge increase in productivity. And that productivity increase is what is powering India's growth story today. Today, road warriors on the move are increasingly connected, and they are connected at times that businesses want to get access to them. And that is changing the way corporate India travels today. If we were to look at, can just go back a bit. If you were to go back and talk about the productivity experience, it also means how are you doing your expense settlement processes today? How are you actually on the go filing in your expenses? And there are organizations that allow you to do it worldwide. No matter which country you are in, they allow expenses to be filed. And there are payment platforms like MasterCard that facilitate this for you. And we'd like to see a video about what MasterCard believes is the future of travel in terms of productivity engagement that they would do with employees.
Technology is hugely changing payments roadmap, particularly in the travel business. We're seeing technology being employed by travel agencies and suppliers to get data-rich information from transactions which they've never seen before. At MasterCard, we've been focusing on this aspect in order to help agents and their clients to get better information from every travel transaction they incur. What we are seeing a lot of, especially, is using systems and software systems in order to gather information about the type of transactions that are being made, and employing MasterCard data to match that data to travel data and financial data as well. Well, at MasterCard, we've taken the approach that virtual card numbers are the way for the future. And so what we see in the next few weeks or few months coming up around Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa is the employment of virtual card numbers by travel agencies to buy from suppliers. This will actually improve the process immensely, create much better security than we have today in the current process, and create efficiencies within the travel industry.
There is a significant advantage of integrating expense management with the corporate travel program. An integrated end-to-end system that allows for the integration and seamless flow of corporate card data certainly offers a number of advantages, both from the points of view of efficiency as well as from the point of view of spend reconciliation and control. Firstly, in an automated integrated system, the credit card data is directly transferred from the credit card provider to the expense management tool. The expense management tool processes the data, synthesizes it, and automatically delivers to the cardholder the specific charges in their inbox for the review and allocation. And all of this happens within 12 to 24 hours of a particular traveler charging their expenses to their corporate card.
I think that the Indian travel market has actually been really, globally speaking, at the forefront of technological change in terms of payments, particularly the business travel arena. I see in the future that, in the not-too-distant future rather, that Indian travel agencies will be using virtual card numbers on an ongoing basis to buy from suppliers, which will create huge cost efficiencies for them and also create better customer satisfaction.
Today's business is becoming fiercely competitive and truly global. With the rising delivery costs, corporate CFOs are seeking tools to automate their processes to control their spend, invoking new payment instruments to accelerate vendor payments while optimizing return on cash and working capital. Because of the dynamic nature of travel inventory, travel and expense management automation is moving from the back burner to the front burner for most of the corporate travel managers and CFOs. It's becoming an important initiative for companies of all sizes because such automation delivers sizable direct and indirect benefits in managing spend, reducing costs, and increasing corporate efficiency.
Thank you. So we're seeing that the world is changing. The world is changing around us, and we need to be embracing that change. We need to be the enabler of that change, to be able to take advantage of all the offerings that technology brings to our doorstep. Going forward, the last component of the travel purchase cycle is reflection and feedback. The actual process of feedback until now, even now, is that an airline representative comes to you while you're flying, you are taking a nap, but they need that feedback form to be filled in. Okay, so if you are unhappy with the feedback form, you tell the cabin crew that I was so-and-so, I was not very happy with the service on board, the cabin crew still insists that you fill the feedback form. Because they believe that it is some process at the back end that actually let them down and added efficiency in the service. However, in the new world, what we're going to see is that intermediary suppliers are going to be more prone to feedback as it comes instantaneously from travelers. While you're on the flight, you have Wi-Fi which enables you to tell ground control that you're not happy with the service. You're telling the whole world, because you're putting that on Twitter or Facebook, that, I can see that the quality of food is deteriorating on this airline. The quality of room beds offered by hotels is no longer the same what it was 2 years back, and there is a new hotel that sprung up next door, which is what you may want to use on your next trip. And that's the way social media is changing the way travelers are getting influenced and getting inspired to make travel decisions. And we believe it is an important space for us to play in as members of the travel ecosystem, because this is what is going to determine the success of a brand, product, or a service. And going forward, we're going to find increasing usage of social media platforms, peer-to-peer community groups that will influence and drive the way travel is done. That brings us to the fact that what are the technology adoption and inhibitors? So I want to ask Meena to play a video. We're going to keep it short in the interest of time.
I believe technology still has a long way to go. If I can draw the analogy of a 2020 match, we're probably only in the third over. And there's a long game to go before we find out the eventual winner. In the past, we used to say technology drove the traveler experience. But today, we firmly believe that it is the traveler that is driving the technology experience. And we all have to meet that requirement of the traveler in the future.
I think for airlines particularly, we have legacy platforms that have been around for a long time, which have meant that it's quite difficult to adjust them very quickly, because they span across everything from check-in to departure control to load control and there will be other areas. So really, when we make a change, we have to change across a very big part of our business, which takes time, and it means that we're slower than we'd like to be. I think technology in general, the speed of change is so vast and it's so fast that the investment that we have to put into our business means that actually it's something that we have to be very selective about what we do, because it costs a lot and needs to be able to last the span of time, which with the speed of change it's quite a difficult thing to pull off. Also, airlines, we use a lot of suppliers that are third-party suppliers. They interact with a lot of other businesses, including travel agents or other search tools. And it's something that they need to be able to create a product that fits everyone's needs.
I think, especially for us as full service or legacy carriers, if I may call, the systems that we've been using for a while needs to adapt to the evolving technology. It needs to be open and flexible. A lot of us use mainframe reservation and check-in systems. That needs to change, and it's a lot to do with these system providers who have to invest in this at a faster pace than what they're doing currently. Probably what works in the US may not necessarily work in India. So these system providers also need to adapt the technology to the local needs and the local requirements.
One of the barriers, I would say, for example, is a standardization. For example, the RFID. It has been well tried and attempted as a POC in major airports like Hong Kong, for example, where you have such a big airport where it's a hub. You do deploy RFID, and it makes sense because 55% of your hubbing traffic you need to do a sortation of the baggage. But if you were to implement one airport in the Indian context, and that tag cannot be read in the destination airport, it doesn't bring value proposition, then the cost doesn't equate. So currently today, a smart active back tag, RFID back tag is a costly proposition. So I think one is the standardization, another is the price point. Price point will come down when there is a total adoption across the industry. Second barrier I would get to see is the capex or the capital exposure in bringing new technologies, in creating new infrastructure, and we always have challenge to balance how to do the investment vis-a-vis the return on investment.
So adoption of any new technology, process or innovation, I think, comes at a cost. So the basic fundamental